Alright, today's coaster review is Green Lantern at Six Flags Great Adventure. Now, this is a coaster that is by far the worst B&M coaster that I've ever ridden. I know this is a stand-up coaster, and it's probably one of the first B&M coasters. That was no, maybe it's not because it was built, I think, in the late '90s. But this is not a great coaster at all. It's very rough, and the stand-up effect is not great at all. I'll talk about that later, but first let's get into the stats. So you can tell by the stats are actually pretty impressive. Height 154 feet, speed 63 miles per hour. Manufactured B&M opened in 2011, which was relocated from Kentucky Kingdom. But here's the thing. It's rough, it's bumpy, and it's just not great at all. Like, this is by far one of the worst roller coasters I have ever experienced. Like, this coaster is not great at all. Like, it's a stand-up coaster. I haven't ridden the following stand-up coasters, like the other stand-up coasters. Like, I have not ridden the other stand-up coasters, like Georgia Scorcher or Riddler's Revenge. Maybe those are excellent. I don't know, but this one's terrible. So we're gonna go through. Let's go through queue line and stuff like that. Now, there is some theming in the queue line. I think the last, as you can tell by the front, there's like a little train thing. I'm not sure. It might be like a train thing. Um, but but I saw some type of. I believe it's in this queue line. I'm not sure. It might be Superman's, but I think this is the queue line that has that airplane. There's like an airplane. There. So I think there's an airplane, and the queue line is very long. Like, it's like a mile walk. Like, it's a very long walk from the entrance to the station. It's about a 4 to 5 point mile walk. It's a very long walk. So I rather maybe sit on a park bench, let your legs cool down, and then just walk into the queue line. Um, but I just want to tell you this, but the operations on this coaster is by far the worst operations I had ever had on a roller coaster. These operations are terrible. First of all, they're running two trains, so yeah, that's good. They're running two trains. They let people come on, that goes through a run. And then the other train, they don't let people go on, they go through a run. It goes through a run, and then they let people on it go through a run. They don't let people on it, that train goes through a run. Like, it is one of the most terrible operations that I've ever experienced. Probably the worst operation in the northeastern part of the United States. Like, if you want to do that, take out one train so then people don't complain about burn how fire their legs are. Like, the operations are just not great at all. They're terrible. Um, they just want to make their guests bad, like their legs bad. Like, of course, it's a stand-up coaster, and it's a pretty long one too. I rather not prefer a long stand-up coaster. Like, it's really rough. Like, when I just got through that loop, I was like, oh, I wanted this coaster to be over. Like, it's not great at all. But the cars are cool. The theming's good on this coaster. But it's just the roughness and stuff like that. I'm just not a big fan at all. And if I compare this maybe to like Untamed at Canopy Lake Park, this one's rougher than Untamed. So yeah, I when you go to this park someday, and if you want to ride Green Lantern, I say just ride this once and never plan riding it again. I rather prefer floorless coasters instead of stand-ups. I rather prefer Batman the Dark Knight, Bizarro, and Hydra after this one, because this one is terrible. I won't be doing ride experience because there's not. I forgot what most of the ride experience. You go up and then you go through the loop. There's a little bit of a there's some corkscrews in there, so I won't be doing ride experience. But I just want to tell you, this is one of the worst roller coasters I have ever experienced. Probably one of the worst roller coasters on the East Coast. I was not a big fan at all on this coaster. Like I said, everything was just rough, head banging, and the queue line is very long. I would prefer Superman the Ride. I know Superman Ultimate Flight has a longer queue line, but that's okay because it's not a stand up. This is a stand up, and this is a much terrible queue line that you just go through in and out. And then you also have switchbacks too, and that makes it rough. That makes it tough too. So yeah. So what am I giving this coaster? I'm giving it a 2. Like I said, it's terrible. Not my favorite B&M roller coaster. It's probably down there in the worst. Probably the worst B&M roller coaster I have ever experienced. Like, yeah. So yeah, if you have been on Green Lantern, I'd like to know what are your thoughts on Green Lantern? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Post them in the comments section below, and stay tuned for more Coaster Box as well. And I'll see you guys later.